Hey Ringside crew, welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe, Panther III.
Hello there, wrestling fans. To another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I am Joe Panther III, and man, Ringside crew, you are in for a treat. This gentleman right here has the energy that I usually bring all the time, hence my voice. My sorries for the awkward voice, not going through puberty, 41 years old. But let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside welcome to Austin ELM. Welcome, brother, welcome.
Thank you so much, man. I am so excited to be a part of this, man. I was really happy when you guys reached out, and honestly, flabbergasted. Like, I had no idea that I was going to be able to get this opportunity. Like, and I'm blessed to get this opportunity this early in my career. So I want to thank you, Joe Panther III, for that. I really appreciate you, man.
No problem, man. It's like this podcast now, when it aired, we're 4 years running. Like, we've interviewed wrestlers from as far as our friends, my friend Savannah Summers, all the way in Australia. The woman that's above gave us the internet, and she cries when I say it. She has that nail that says Kiara helped us, the little nail. Kiara from England was our very first British guest we ever had on the podcast, like ever. And then the one that opened the doors for the wrestlers, exactly. She would never admit this, but the door is slammed to the side. It's still hanging on a hinge. It's just hanging. Foxy opened the door and ripped it off the hinges and just dinged the doorbell and held it in with a brick. So all the wrestlers, he can hear like deer, like zombies. So that's why they all started running in. Like, you probably heard that awkward doorbell that's ding ding.
Yeah.
You're like walking by going, that's not for me yet, is it? And I'm just like, I think, does he want to? Does he see me? And like, you'd be like, I'm just sitting there at the desk going,
oh hey,
no, okay. Maybe the 4th year is the bad year. Maybe the 4th anniversary is never the 4 years is always the bad. So Austin, to my fans in the UK countries and from the East Coast and from across the globe, introduce yourself to my internationally known audience.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I hope to do you justice. So my name is Austin Elm, and I've been a professional wrestler training for about a year now. I train under Unchained King Brandon Day, who runs the Unchained Wrestling Academy in Fostoria, Ohio. He's wrestled for 25 years. He's had a he had a run in ROH for a while. He's been places across the United States, and boy, is he someone to learn from. Oh my gosh. I mean, I quite frankly, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be doing this. And I'll put it out there. You know what I mean? There was a time where I was really struggling with my wants and my dreams, and I tried out once when back in 2021 or 2022. I went to this place called NOW, which is another acclaimed wrestling promotion in Ohio. I was able to go in there for a tryout day with James Avery, who is, I still believe, is the head trainer there at NOW. But he taught me a lot, and the thing was, I ended up, getting hurt because it was all my fault. Should have tucked your chin, buddy. You hear that sentiment all the time. Should have tucked your chin.
Protect your neck. It's the Wu-Tang Clan would say.
You best protect your neck, straight up.
Your neck.
And I was really I felt defeated after that. I was looking up at the lights and I was like, oh, those are a lot blurrier than what they were when I came in. So I rolled out of the ring. They had a conversation with me. They're like, is this something you want to do? This is a tough business. Not everyone will work here. If you do, you got to understand that you have to be realistic. And, at the time, like my head was just buzzing. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. I'm a very anxious person. So all the thoughts were going through me at that time. And I told him I'll think about it. And that's never an answer that you should give someone. Never. You know what I mean? Unless, certain circumstances, require that answer. But I really hate giving the I'll think about it because it's an unknown whether you're going to do it or not. And you put it on yourself, like putting stuff off to the next day. It's like, oh, I can do it tomorrow. Tomorrow's today, buddy. You know what I mean? You got to do it now or else it never gets done. I remember
Yeah.
coming home and just weeping because I thought I had lost out on my dream. And I was just so devastated. So for a couple years, like for a year after that, I was really just in the dumps and everything. And then with my buddy, my roommate at the time was a big wrestling fan, and I wanted to show him a local wrestling promotion back at home. So we went to War Wrestling in Lima, Ohio. We sat through the entire event and everything. It was a great event. I sat through the entire event. I was on my feet the entire event. Let's be honest here. I was on my feet the entire event. And I was just I was so enamored by everything because it was close. I was very close and it felt personal. I made sure to help out and everything any way I could. Uh, and eventually we were on our way out. I had introduced myself to some of the people, and we were on our way out. And I'm like, "Ugh, I kind of want to go out and check out the VIP room." And my buddy was like, "Go do it." And I'm just like, "Nah, I don't want to go in there." I'm like, I don't know. For some reason, I felt like, oh, I'm too old for this. You know what I mean? But I was only like 21 at the time. And like, I was like, come on. Like, there's no age requirement for this. It's for everyone. Take the opportunity you can and go for it. And I went into the VIP room, and that's where I met Brandon Day. And he was the war champion at the time. And I asked him, I was really wanting to get into the industry. I was really wanting to have an opportunity. And
Awesome.
how do I get into it? And next thing you know, he slid me over a flyer, which was his training school. And here I am now.
Awesome. So was it hard to find the training facility you went to? Because I'm 41.
Mm.
I never went into the training of wrestling, but I know people that did go back in the day before there was real like social media. You had to find it from the little corners of the like friends like
Yeah.
message boards
Mhm.
or like people are going, "Hey, you want to be a wrestler? Go to that little shack over there, that gym, that tiny gym. I know that's a
Yeah.
garage where they
Mhm.
fix cars, but at night they put a ring in there, so now
Yeah.
you're breathing like car shit."
Yeah, yeah. Right, right. But that's what you got to do, man. I mean, like I was like when I went to like I've seen many different places where people have trained, storage closets, like whereas like or storage
Barns.
closets as like yeah, storage closets, barns, you know what I mean? And some places will have venues. And I would say we are lucky enough to be able to perform in that venue at Fostoria at venue 18. That's where we train. And we just recently had a show there and which turned out phenomenally thanks to everyone involved. Um, yeah, I mean, it just fell into my lap. It fell into my lap, and all the other wrestling schools around me were way too far for me to make at the time. I was just fresh out of high school, and I was expected to go to college, and I was expecting myself to go to college. So I felt like I had something already in line, and I was like, "Ah, wrestling just isn't in the cards right now." But it fell into my lap. Brandon handed me that flyer, and I was like, "Well, I'm in it now. I'm in it now. I can't give up on this. This means something. This moment happening means something, and I need to take that and roll with it."
Yeah. So let's go a little bit further in. What were you thinking, and did you have gear for your very first match? Like, what
Ooh,
was like
yeah.
going through your mind also?
Oh man. I was so excited, man. I was so excited for my first opportunity. And I'll tell you what, we were getting to the point I was however many months in, and this guy that had been wrestling for about 2 years, but had still been training under Brandon Day, like from time to time, he would come back and forth. He had some hand-me-down gear that I was able to use. And actually, and this means a lot to me, it's a very sentimental piece in my gear right now. Actually, there are several, but I'm going to start with the kick pads. The kick pads, personally, have been with me for. I was wrestling on the trampoline when I was 14, 13, 14. My buddy bought a pair and everything because we really wanted to be wrestlers. We wanted to look exactly like them. And I was a skinnier guy, so I was like, all right, get the skinny guy kick pads. You know what I mean? He's gonna be doing a lot of kick. He's not gonna be doing the power moves because my buddy was easily 40, 50 pounds bigger than me. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
geez.
And yeah, oh yeah. I was really small.
He's a thick boy.
Thick boy, thick
Mm.
boy. But yeah, my red and black kick pads I've had since my days wrestling on the trampoline, and he actually gave them to me to keep before my first match. And I was like, oh my God, over the moon that I was able to take this piece of memorabilia, really. I think it's like memorabilia, like it went that far back and everything, which honestly, right now, like I'm still really young. It's really not that far, but it feels like ages ago. And I was able to take that with me into the ring. And yeah. And then my jacket. So my jacket was once again a hand-me-down from my coach. We recently had a match in Fostoria, the 21st of December, Holiday Havoc, excuse me, Christmas Chaos. And me and him were in the main event of that show, and it was just a slobber knocker. I mean, it was the hardest match I've ever been through my short career. And I was lucky enough to have a moment with him backstage where we shared a moment. I thanked him, for doing this for me and everything, and for giving me the respect and the trust to be in that match with him. And I was getting ready to hand his jacket back. I was like, all right, I have had your jacket for a while. You probably want to use this at another show. I start to hand it to him. He was like, that's all you, man. You keep it. And it was hard. It was hard, like, not to get super emotional because, I'm a very emotional guy, and I really value that part of me. You know what I mean? And I was telling you earlier, other people think it might be a weakness, but I feel like in this industry, you definitely have to be emotional. And I definitely took that as a sign of respect because I respect the ever loving hell out of him, always will. Um, and just to have that opportunity for him, like to give me a piece that he had and everything, I can take that with me. I can take that confidence with me.
So pretty much that was your moment, like your Andre the Giant telling the Hogan, "You go up, I go down," kind of thing.
Yes, yes. And I ended up losing that match, but by God, did we get the fans involved. And I was so, so happy with how it turned out. I mean, we had the crowd on their feet. They were livid at me. I mean, they hated me. Hated me. They wanted me to lose really badly. And at some points, they wanted me to win. And that's like I could hear some of the shift change. There was half like boo Austin, half yay Austin, you know what I mean? And like I was like, "Oh my God." Like it's getting to me now. I'm starting to understand more and more with every time I step foot in that ring. So it really was that Andre the Giant moment for me.
Mm.
I had the most fun in that match. The most fun. I felt in the moment, and that helped the fans to be in the moment. Because I really I was really worried all that day, preparing, getting ready for the match and everything. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna screw up, I'm gonna do something wrong. You know what I mean? And I was really worried about that. But I had a friend, um, and a mentor, really just give me what I needed to hear. You know what I mean? It's like you're not gonna do bad. You've been training way too hard, way too long, and he trusts you. Go out there and have fun. And I was like, bing, okay, I'm good. And it didn't set in until a part of that match where I hit a little Shawn Michaels pose, and that's exactly what I would have done on the trampoline on a mattress when I was having fun, and I just was able to sink back into that. So that really like there was a shift that I felt and that they felt too.
So the Austin character,
Mm.
where does it come from? Like, where did the coach get this out of you? Or something you wanted to put it into your character? Like, what?
See, and that's the thing, right? Me being so early on in my career, I've still so much to learn, and part of that is making a compelling character. I would say right now, he is me. Just ramped up to 11, and you hear a lot of people say that, and it works for a lot of people. They have this personality that belongs in a wrestling ring, and I think that of myself to a point. You know what I mean? I think there are still parts of me that have to be unlocked to really let that personality shine through, so I can be confident in myself. But that's also part of what I like about Austin Elm. He's overconfident, but really not. He's this delusional guy who believes that everyone is in love with him. You know, he believes that everyone loves him. ELM, everybody loves me. Austin Elm, and that's like it was just something that came into my mind. And I was like, oh, I might be able to take this somewhere, and whether this is going to go anywhere or not, that's yet to be seen. That's the beauty, I mean, of wrestling. You can constantly reinvent yourself. Um, you just got to have the parts for it. And I would say Austin Elm right now is kind of, a part of me, how I still feel, like I know that I still have a lot to learn, you know what I mean? But I'm confident in myself. I'm confident because I'm always willing to learn. I'm always willing to screw up. I'm always willing to make mistakes because those don't seem like failures to me anymore. At one point, yes. Yes. Every mistake seemed like a failure. But now I'm getting to the point where I can turn these into learning opportunities. And that has just been what I've been trying to implement with the Austin Elm character. I would say he's very cocky, very like in your face, very loud, very emotional. There are clips from that match where really encapsulated like how I want to be perceived. A reverse, so I put coach in a reverse, or I put coach into a figure four. A couple seconds pass by. Don't clap for him. Don't clap for him. What the heck is going on here? He flips me and I reach to the sky. I'm like, I just let out this scream that I just comes from within. You know what I mean? And I could hear my mom on the outside go, oh, and then everyone's like, oh, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I just feeling the crowd and feeling the energy, like I feed off of that. I feed off that, always have. And I'm normally the loudest guy in the audience whenever I go to a show. And I've just gotten to the point where, you know what, I'm a loud person. It is what it is. I might be a little obnoxious. Austin Elm is too. And that'll work. You know what I mean? Whether people love it or hate it, it's going to be something that people can
So
relate with.
Austin, well, sorry, keep going. I have my
No,
next
that's
question
all
after
right.
you.
No, go for it, man. Go for it. Absolutely.
When it comes to like before the week of a show,
Mm.
do you always like have a set schedule? Like you pack your bag on like the Wednesday of that week. You make sure you have your totes for the merch
Mm.
all ready to go and have them right by the door and know when you're training the day before the show so you don't mess something up and do the wrong move and hurt your arm back.
Hmm.
Or is everything all sporadic for you still?
It's still, I would say, in sporadic period. I've been trying to make my presence known. My coach has been doing a great job of making my presence known. So I'm a reserve a lot. A lot of the credit of Austin Elm working is in credit to Brandon Day. I really appreciate what he's done for me, as far as like guidance and being under the tutelage of him. But as far as all that goes, that's still something that's a bit sporadic, knowing when bookings are. I'm not entirely sure because I'm not out of the training regiment yet. I'm not out of the woods yet, just to say, you know what I mean? There's still a lot that needs to go into it. before I can really go off on my own. But right now I'm just in a stage where I'm going with coach, I'm going with Brandon to all these shows and hoping that there's a spot open for me. So every time I'm going anywhere with Brandon, yes, I'll always have my bag and everything. And there will be some times where my mind escapes me. Like the other night, I forgot my jacket. My red
Mm.
jacket. I really wanted that, but for better or for worse, I didn't have a spot open on that show, so that's okay. But it is another part of the beast that you have to learn, like being prepared for anything and everything. Because just like that, snap of the fingers, something opens up, and here I am with my pants down, not literally, but like I don't have anything to wear. So what am I gonna do? Go out there in my sweatpants? No, 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 no. Other people maybe, not me though. And coaches, one thing that he has really put in my brain is you need to look like you belong. You know what I mean? And that's been another thing for me is learning how to look, learning what to do, learning all the things that go into. Because like packing and preparing for shows, that's another thing. But as far as training and regimenting yourself, diet, there's so much that goes into that. And like, I can't personally afford a personal trainer right now. You know what I mean? Someone to help me get there. So a lot of it is on me. All of it is on me. But like as far as getting myself in shape, it's all on me. I mean, I can't have anyone else do it for me. I gotta be able to put the work forward. It's the same thing with learning how to pack, knowing what's in your bag, knowing that you have everything you need for traveling. Um, just this weekend or just this week, I've been traveling a lot. I've had a lot of different shows that I went to, and just getting used to the traveling has been an experience. And always having everything you need instead of having to buy like extra things at gas stations, everything. Because saving money is so important when you are out on the road. You can't just be buying frivolous things. You know what I mean? You always got to come prepared.
Can't go
So,
back buy bags of Doritos, kids.
man,
And
I know. Oh, but they look so good, and it's
they
carbs,
make,
and
but wait, am I right though? Like the Doritos company, they set up those racks and they're like make them look like the Christmas tree on Christmas morning. How
mm-hmm.
they stack the gifts
Oh
all a
yeah.
certain way.
Oh yeah. And it's like I
Mm.
want that one, and ooh, there's a blue one. I want that one. You know what
And
I
it's
mean?
like
Like,
I get so pissed because I'm like going to a wrestling show. I gotta look fit.
mm,
I'm not. I gotta lose some pounds before I go back to my indie shows. But like for you, like after the show, Austin, after you do that big move and the crowd goes crazy, when you're
yeah,
going home,
yeah.
I'm a local podcaster, as you know, as I told you, I live in the Poconos. Where's that one place in Ohio that you want to give a shout out to that you usually go to after the show?
Oh, well, one, Unchained Wrestling Academy. I have to shout that out because
Definitely go get it.
if I was not doing that, if that was not there, I wouldn't be doing this in the first place. Um, just such great teaching from Brandon. Such great teaching. He really cares about all of us. He's so invested in all of us. And he shows that. He shows that every practice. He comes prepared, and that makes us want to come prepared, and that makes me want to bring the positive energy to every training session I can. You know what I mean? Because it's daunting getting in there and slamming yourself on that mat like that. There's a reason why not many people get into this. You know what I mean? It's a very difficult thing. So when you're doing that, you have to have some positive light in it, and that's what I believe. Another one, oh my gosh, War Wrestling in Lima, Ohio, amazing. The people there are super nice, giving me a great opportunity just a couple of weeks ago to work a pre-show match with them, and I was able to wrestle in front of my hometown crowd, and that was everything to me. As well as CIW, another one that has given me a great opportunity based out of Toledo, and they do shows in Toledo and Michigan. Great group of people and very professional, very professional. And a third one, if I could give a shout out to, is Battle on the Border for having me come back to work with them as well, to work with coach and work with other friends, other trainees that have been in there. Like for instance, Paris McQueen, who just recently won Pro Wrestling Kingdom's uh oh it's escaping me, best newcomer award, I believe. Pro
I love
Wrestling
Iris
King.
McQueen. She came on
She's
the podcast.
did
She
she?
recorded with me.
Did
You
she?
speak to her,
Absolutely.
when you tell her, you'd be like, "Guess what podcast I just recorded with?" She'd be
I
like,
will. I will.
"Who?" And she'd be like, "You know him." You just drop a hint. He wears red glasses, and sometimes he wears random polos.
Yeah.
You'd be like, "Oh
I think she'll
God,
know.
it's a Ringside."
I think she'll know. I think she'll know.
She made a
Um,
promo for me. It's on my phone. I'm like, I'm very persistent with this podcast.
yes.
Now being at 4 years because I'm the director,
Mhm.
I'm the promo man, I'm the one that messages the wrestlers. I ask for promos. So like I'm waiting to post that on my Instagram and it's already on TikTok. Even
Mm.
though dang TikTok, man.
Dang TikTok, man. Oh my god.
Don't leave us TikTok.
I
That
could get into a conversation about TikTok. Oh
I
my
know, I'm just saying, no, I get my promos. I put them on the tube of the U.
The
My
tube of the U. Yes, yes, as
tube
anyone would.
U. Tube U. I
Tube
put it
U.
on there as a short, just like to have him up there to get some views,
Yeah, absolutely.
get some views.
I'm gonna have to check
And
out that promo.
after that, I don't know what to do with them before it goes live on Insta. So I just post them on TikTok, and
There
it
you
gets
go.
like 100 views. And
Mhm.
her video was really cute. She's like, me. She did this.
The little
Okay.
rascals. Yeah, I
And I'm
love
like,
it.
I know a deaf girl that would be yelling at you and chasing you around, be like, sit there. Because I got
Oh
told,
boy.
you know what that means in deaf world? Dirty. It
Dirty.
means dirty. Look it
Ooh.
up. This
Yeah.
means dirty. Not Christina, dirty.
Yeah, wow.
No, I mean
Wow.
dirty like you nasty.
You
Yeah, you stank.
nasty. Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. No, I
Yeah,
didn't know
I saw
that,
the
man,
video, I was like,
honestly.
anybody that's deaf is gonna be offended. I could hear any deaf girl going, you better call me now, call me dirty, call me
Oh
dirty.
man.
Any deaf person, why are they at a wrestling show? No subtitles? You're all screwed.
Oh yeah.
This is you know what the thing is? Being a person with an intellectual disability who does all this directing, right, and like putting all this stuff together now for
Mm.
4 years. Never really had this wrestler ask me. Now with the 4 years of this podcast, do you have any questions for me?
Absolutely. Absolutely, actually. I didn't know how we were gonna format this, but I actually, yeah. So I gotta ask, did you ever have any wrestling experience, like in-ring wrestling experience? Because I know
I
that you said that you were going to an indie show. I don't know how often you go there and like what
I've
how
never
are you a
asked
part
to
of
go
it?
into the ring and actually take a bump because
Mm,
I'm 41 years old.
mm.
I don't know if my body's gonna be like, I'll pop back to take a bump, and my Ghostbuster symbol and my double life, my Ghostbuster life.
Oh, are you a
Um,
Ghostbuster? Is there something I should know?
yeah, I'm a Ghostbusters of Pike County, and my with
Oh,
this channel is the Joe Panther Variety Show. It's like my
mm,
NBC.
okay.
I have a show that's long now, as when the show airs, 9 years. The show called Ghost Head Nerd Talk Podcast. You started out as Ghost Head Talk.
Mm.
And I have now these two lovely, sweet ladies. Rain's gonna be like, kiss ass. Like I have Rain and Valerie, both two sweet, just darling of women.
Mhm.
I'm a big supporter of women, as you could probably see when you watch my podcast. Anybody, and if you watch it,
Mhm.
Austin, I interview a lot of women's wrestlers,
I
not
do.
because I
I
want
noticed
to
that.
women and practice my game
But
on get my
they
whiz up.
deserve so much more representation.
Yes,
They
like
deserve it.
that's why I asked Paris to come on. Like
Yeah.
almost called her Paige. That's how you get beat
Yeah.
up.
Oh yeah.
But
She ain't no one to mess with. She
yeah,
slapped me
but
like once
she'd
or
be like
twice. I'm
dunk.
good. I'm good.
Like, yeah, so oh yeah, go on with your question because I just totally ADD'd your whole thing.
No. Oh my gosh. I can tell you something about that. ADHD, ADD, whatever it is I have.
Yeah,
It sucks, but
it's
it
rough.
is what it is. But so you've been in the wrestling scape for how long now? How long have you been like
Now
up
I've
close and
been
personal
watching
with it?
wrestling since I was like 8 or 9 years old.
Mm.
And I could tell you the date that it made bring tears to my eyes. The date
I'm all for it, man.
that wrestling became something for me is I watched it on YouTube on the Peacock a few
Mhm.
days ago, and I actually watched the full show, and I was like, man, this is the date that I became a wrestling fan. And then my dad told me a few days ago my grandfather was a wrestler.
Yeah.
April 22nd, 1991 is the day that Joe Panther III, aka Joe Ortiguez, became a diehard professional wrestling fan. That was the date, timestamp, like on TikTok and all the social medias.
Yeah.
Because that was the day, very first day, little Joe, 9 or 10 years old, took his uncle's hand and walked into Madison Square Garden and stared at the ring for the first time. Stared at that blue apron and those red, white, and blue ropes. And he got to the stand, bought something with my uncle, got me a hot dog or a bag of popcorn, sat down, and that legendary ring announcer walks through that curtain, grabs the microphone with his little half hair and his big, thick, bushy mustache with the little black bow tie, gets in the ring, grabs the microphone, and I can't do it today because my voice is so pepperish.
Oh.
And he
Go for it.
goes,
Let's hear it. Let's try it.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Madison Square Garden. I'm
Yes.
Howard Finkel,
Yes.
and we are here with WWF Action.
Oh my gosh.
And here we go. And the show starts. And I
That's
watched that show, and Howard Finkel is literally the reason why I love doing my intro. My
yeah.
intro has been, hey, hello there, wrestling fans, for like ever.
Which I
And
loved your intro. I loved the visuals, the audio. That was amazing. But
and
go on.
like the audio is from the video is from my buddy Rain. Once again, Rain, always love you, mama. She's a big part of my heart. She always smile, even though she's so kissy, Joe. I'm Latino. Finding out that your grandfather is part of the stitching, your grandfather is part of the stitching of wrestling, where it became from the green/gray era to now, where everything is so on the internet that a few days ago I'm on Peacock after I watched that stream show. Then I watched the next one, and I watched from way back to the show I went to.
Yeah.
I saw my cousins. I found out during COVID, I have another cousin that was in wrestling. 2 cousins.
Wow.
Pete Sanchez, Pistol Pete Sanchez, and Frank Martinez, the Blue Demon. And he was an enhancement talent, Pistol Pete and Frank. But I got a chance to actually sit and watch Pete Sanchez both his matches. Yeah. I never got a chance to see my grandfather scrap it up in the ring, but it like breaks my heart that I never got a chance to see him in the ring. I never got a chance to speak to him. But my name, every time I say my name during the show, I always feel like my grandfather's wings are doing this. And they're like, Joe, and he's like, no, my grandson's talking about me again. He's saying something related to
keep my name out of his damn mouth.
Dang it, Joe, shut up. Come and throw a lightning bolt. No, don't hurt him. People always ask, why the red glasses?
Yeah.
And my grandfather's mask was red.
Oh, okay.
And it was red and black. And my original glasses, these glasses, actually right here, the original glasses that I used to wear on the podcast, no lenses. Yeah. And you see how there's black, red, and black. Mm-hmm. And then the little paw prints in the things.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Created that. That was all me. I was just like, one day I was like, okay, these glasses need something. So I painted the edges black and I got a silver pen, but like the 3 dots, that's the paw prints. So it's kind of like, you know how people have the glasses and they have like the little red dots on the ends of them?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Those are like keeping the glass. That's like the metal spike, like that. Like, and I do this podcast not to get famous, not to like get any recognition, get paid. If people want to pay me and have me go to the shows, I'd be honored. You go there and be commentary or help out doing anything in the business. I do this to help you guys get your names known. I know there's a lot of wrestlers out there, female and male, that think that Dudes at Ringside is just out for themselves. I'm not. I know there's wrestling, there's fans, there's fans that there's wrestlers that I've heard stories about that say that wrestlers think the fans think they're the wrestlers. I don't think I'm a wrestler. I'm just a fan that just likes to help support people.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want to send me a T-shirt, I wear it. I wear it like a badge of honor. I sticker. I put the stickers here. See,
I love it.
that's
I
my
love
sticker
it.
wall. That's my Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I do this for like to help. I think of me like a little satellite dish with a pair of red glasses and a epic mustache. I don't have a beard now. But, like,
Mustache looks good, man. It looks good.
it's my trademark, the mustache, the red glasses. I go to the shows, I wear a nice blue coat with my Dudes at Ringside shirt on, and I just go just talk to people and just bump elbows and hand
Yeah.
people cards and stickers and.
Yeah.
But long story short, I just want to make people happy. I don't
Yeah.
want people to think I'm rude or annoying or overzealous. Well, back in the day, people would say no, and I leave them alone.
Right.
And then I go back, and then some wrestlers change their gimmicks after a few years. So I message them again. Oh, you messaged me already. I'm like, well, it's not my fault. You changed your promo picture like
Yeah. Right.
these.
You look
Like,
different now. Isn't that the goal?
yeah. But you know
Yeah.
what? I everybody's not the same. A lot of people are different. But the ones I've interviewed, I feel like I've helped them achieve goals. Like I interviewed wrestlers, and then a few months later, they won a championship.
Yeah.
And there's people I've never had on this podcast, like the likes of Danny Moe, Visage. I've been dying to have both of them on, boyfriend and girlfriend. There's people that have been on this podcast I have not talked to in literally now 4 years.
Wow. Yeah.
Like Al Snow, he was on a Dudes at Ringside episode.
Oh, the llama guy. Absolutely.
Yeah, Mr. What does everybody want? We recorded the day before Thanksgiving, and I got the email when he accepted. I was on break out beside a Key Food in the little area outside. I'm eating my lunch, and I see an email. Al, it said his real name, Al something. I'm like, I'd like to come on your pod.
And you just
I see my phone just sliding out of my hand and
Yeah,
going
yeah.
in my lap, and it was like so I was so
I can't
numbified. It hit me in the balls, and I'm just like, oh,
I can't
oh,
believe he just emailed me back. Yeah.
yeah. I jumped out of my chair and I was like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Shoot, I would too, man. I'd be absolutely over the moon.
I called my old former co-host and I said, like, dude. He's like, what? I was like, you wouldn't believe who wants to come on Dudes at Ringside. He's like, who are you bothering now? I'm like, no, I'm not bothering anybody. How Snow wants to come on Dudes at Ringside? No, man, no way. So I screenshot the email, sent it to him, and he was like, "This is real." And I was like, "Why would I send you something fake? This is Al Snow. Like, what does everybody want?" He had to cancel, and he did it the day before Thanksgiving as a Thanksgiving special. He didn't like the pre-record, but we had to because it was the day before Thanksgiving, and he was getting all set up. But very fun episode.
Yeah. That must have been so cool to be able to talk to someone like that.
He
with
was
such,
so nice.
such an experience in the business.
It was crazy to think that we talked to a man that was in the rough, like in the bumps, man. Like he went from being the top name than doing the Jobber Squad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like that's just it just goes to show how things can change for you on a dime.
Yep.
One thing that I've been taught is that this industry, this business doesn't owe you jack shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like it's up in the air whether you're gonna make it, but if you want your chances to be better, you have to do the extra work. Speaking of Al Snow, man, my mother actually taught his daughter
Oh wow.
uh where I lived in Shawnee High School. And that was well, Shawnee Middle School rather, but I digress. Regardless, that was really cool to know that I was in like distance. I was within distance of this man, a rather short distance. You know what I mean? I was like, I didn't even realize that wrestlers came from Lima. And then I had the opportunity to see Zachary Wentz and
Mm.
Wes Lee in NXT, and I was like, oh my god, Zach Wentz is from Lima too. And then I start to meet people who know him. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. You know what I mean? To see someone like someone like that would come from Lima, which I thought it was just, nothing. Like this isn't a place where wrestlers come out of. You know what I mean? But you never know. You never know. And it just gives me all the confidence in the world to be like, okay, he made it from here. I can make it from here. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or at least I aim. I want to make it. You know what I mean? It's hard. It's really hard too because you have to balance confidence and ego. It's such a difficult thing for me. Like as a young man, I gotta be able to know when to shut up, but also know when to have confidence in myself to say the things I want to say. And that has been its own thing that I've learned. Um, I'm not one to mouth off to anybody at all. I like to keep an even keeled temper. But there have been some moments where, where I might have should have said something that I might have just disagreed with at the very least. You know what I mean? But I think the key right now is just be a sponge, learn as much
Yeah.
as you can.
That's the best part of it, Austin. Like you gotta take your bumps, but you gotta be able to learn from your mistakes or learn. Like as I say, I've done this now for 4 years. I learned from my mistakes, from things I've said about people in the past.
Hmm.
Like now that I'm working on my own, people are like, "Oh, you mentioned." When we're done interviewing, I'll talk more about it. But
Hmm.
I just love this business. I love independent wrestling. I love going to shows, talking to
Hmm.
fans, telling
Hmm.
them. They ask me questions about being a podcaster. Should they do it? And then I go like, what's his name from Don't do it, kid. What is wrong with you? You have a whole life ahead of you. No, I don't do that. I told him if you want to do it, and then I do this, taking my views away.
Hmm.
Hey, no, I don't do that. He's like, what do you do?
Take my views away, man. What the heck? No, no.
What the hell's
I
wrong
got
with you, bro? I'm gonna kick your ass. No, dad will come out of the bathroom. What the fuck? Get off my kid. Yeah. Oh, I get lucky. It won't be the hot mom. Like, oh my god, don't talk to my son like that.
Right, right.
Be like, here's my card.
Here's my card. You know me.
And then the dad walks out. Hey, who took my daughter? I'm
Just
scared.
just go into the corner of the room. Just
Let's
goodbye.
go. Gotta go. My card.
uh,
So Austin, before we go,
yeah.
where do you see yourself 5 to 10 years in the wrestling business?
What a question. You got to manifest it, right? In
Yeah.
5 to 10 years, I see myself having held multiple championships. I see myself in one of the big leagues. I see myself like in ROH, TNA, hopefully. Maybe getting ready for a WWE performance tryout. Um, it's just I gotta be realistic. Before I even think about the future, before I even have any ideas about that, I have to be present. You know, if things fall into place where I get those opportunities, which I'm a very smart person when it comes to that. I feel like I try to make all the connections that I can. I try to market myself. I try to be as much good of a people person I can as well. But as good as that stuff will be for me, I still have so much to learn as far as in-ring things and promoting myself, marketability. Um, it just depends. If I could give you a concise answer, like in 5 to 10 years, I'm still definitely going to be wrestling. I'm going to be somewhere. You're going to see my name. People are going to know my name in 5 to 10 years. And I'm not going to let them not know it. Whatever I have to do. You know what I mean? And that's just, and I don't want to sound overconfident and cocky, but I mean, like, I believe I was made for this. I don't believe I was put on this earth for anything else. I've known that since the day I started watching. I'll tell you how I got into it. I was playing WWE 2K with my buddy, my best friend. He's the one that got me into wrestling in the first place. And I remember seeing the 2K showcase mode for 2K15. It was best friends, bitter enemies. It was Shawn Michaels versus Triple H. It was that story of when Shawn Michaels came back at SummerSlam 2002.
I
And
was there.
that must have been a crazy event.
That match was fucking. But nowadays the kid would say fire. That match was fire.
Oh my gosh.
And I love Shawn. Shawn's my boy, man. I was watching Royal Rumble 92 when Marty faced Shawn, and he was the Intercontinental Champion, and Sherry was like mad at Shawn because he hit her with the mirror, and I was just, that rivalry was kind of whack. Like, they should have did something else. They should have added to it. Like, it was kind of
that's another thing. Like, shoulda, woulda, coulda. Sometimes things don't, materialize like you would want them to. I personally was a little disappointed with how the Jay and Jimmy Uso thing ended up going. You know what I mean? Like, I can't say anything as far as, I can't knock them at all. They're both accomplished wrestlers. They're there for a reason. But I believe that the match they had left a little bit to be desired. It just didn't seem like, and of course their story isn't over. Their story isn't over yet. But the culmination of all the trouble that they had, the issues, and like the story with the bloodline and Sami Zayn, all of those different things put into this boiling pot for it to explode. The explosion wasn't that big. It wasn't. It was like a pop. It's like, oh, okay, well, this seems to be over now. And of course, it's not. It's still going, but it's just like, man, and that like seeing those, like learning taking those as learning opportunities, like, what did they do wrong? Can I even understand what they did wrong? And once I do understand what they did wrong, how can I learn from that to leave wrestling better than it was when I got here? So yeah, I don't know if I don't know what the question was, or if I rambled off of that. It's
no, you were good, man. I liked it.
But
you were good. You're good. You didn't ramble. Before we go, if my fans want to pick up any merch, anything of yours, is there anywhere they can find it?
Unfortunately, I do not have any merch figured out right now. However, please, if you would like to see where I go, look up Austin_ELM on Instagram. That's my first page I have. I'm planning on opening up a Facebook page as well for it. Maybe a YouTube account to post my matches at. But yeah, check me out on Instagram. Check out the Unchained Wrestling Academy. Shout out to all of those guys, all my friends there. Kennedy, Steven, RJ, Sydney, Tiffany. This new kid that came in, Xavier. We have our buddy Derek that just joined us as well. And my boy Ryan, my best friend, is starting to train with us now too. Shout out to them. Shout out to CIW, Battle on the Border, War, for giving me the opportunities that they have given me. Shout out to Brandon Day. And yeah, shout out to you, Joe Panther III. Thank you so much for having me on this show with you. I mean, it was a great opportunity, and really, I appreciate you. I appreciate all the fans that really get into this industry, because that is what I love. This is what I feed off of. You want to help people and everything, and I want to help you. I want to make sure this is a mutually beneficial experience for both of us.
Yeah, it has. You really you're a bright star, and that's why when I saw your Instagram that day, and I was just like, yeah.
And that's what I want, man. Just like
the message. My message always, it gets me upset, and I'll say this during the podcast. I won't say it afterwards. It's not like I'm canceling anybody. When you get the message from Dudes at Ringside on Instagram, I see it. It's not like a text message that just says delivered.
Right.
It says seen.
Yeah.
Say something after you see it. Like,
Mhm.
are you starstruck? Or are you just
Yeah.
taken aback? Or are you scared?
I'll tell you one thing. I was starstruck when you first texted me. I will give you that. I was
Really?
starstruck. I was like, huh. I got someone asking for me to be on an interview. That's amazing. And I started to look you up and do my research. It's like, oh my god, I'm excited. So excited. So
Interview everybody from Paris hasn't debuted yet, but like on the Dudes podcast. But everybody from deathmatch wrestlers, from Mickey Knuckles to Randy West to there's so many
yeah.
people. But Austin, I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
I am Joe Panther III.
And I am Austin Elm.
And everybody, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and help me get up past 2,000 subscribers this year. And we will catch you in the next one.